watching Miami Temple Kids.
This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. 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 Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. This train.
Okay, now let's bring it down.
This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. This train. Oh, this train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. This train is bound for glory. Jesus made a place in heaven for me. This train is bound for glory. This train.
Good morning, guys, and happy Sabbath. Today is October 31st, and we are officially at the end of the month of October. It's time for another Sabbath School lesson review with your Miami Temple teachers. Now, I want to remind you, those of you who are in the primary, juniors, or early teen classes, we have Zoom class for you at 1 p.m. So if you're interested in having your child join one of our Zoom class, please email me to children@miamitemple.org. I'll send you a short form for you to fill out, and then once you return it, I'll give you the Zoom link the following week, okay? Again, those are for the kids who are in primary, juniors, and early teens. So for right now, let's sit back and watch our Miami Temple teachers do the Sabbath School lesson review for this week. I'll see you guys in a little bit, okay? Bye!
Oh, let's see the patients I have today. Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to Sabbath School Review. I am so happy you're here. I am dressed as a doctor today. Let's clap for the doctors. Everybody clap. Let's clap for the nurses. Yay. Our story today comes from the Bible. I open my Bible book and read, He loves me, He loves me. Our story is about a father by the name of Jairus. Is your father around in the room? Well, give him a big hug. Jairus was a wonderful father, but today he was sad. Can you make a sad face? Aww. He's sad because his daughter is very sick. His little girl is very sick. His little girl cannot get out of bed, and she's sick like Melanie. Yes. Melanie is sick. Her tummy hurts. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better. Which reminds me of our memory verse. Our memory verse is found in 3 John 2. And it says, I pray that your health is good. You have to jump just like that. Let's do it one more time. I pray that your health is good. Good jumping. Well, Jairus wanted Jesus to help him, just like how somebody helped you with your Band-Aid. And Jesus came on a boat. He got out of the boat, and the boat kept on rocking. How do boats go? Rock, rock, rock. See the boat on the water. Good rocking, boys and girls. So Jairus ran to Jesus and said, Please, oh please, help my daughter. She's very sick. As Jesus went walking, let's walk, 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 walk. Let's go this way. Walk, walk, walk. Another woman needed help, so he couldn't go to the house right away. And Jesus finally reached the house. When they got to the house, Melanie, they heard crying. Can you help me cry? Wah, wah, wah. The little girl fell asleep and they couldn't wake her up. Jesus went into the room, Melanie, and said, little girl, get up. Get up, Melanie. And she was up again. And Jesus said, give her some food. What is your favorite food? I like apples. So they gave her apples. And she was happy and she was fine. Let's jump up and down. She's fine. That was a big celebration. Melanie, Jesus cares. Jesus cared for the little girl. And I want to know if you care. Would you care for me if I was sick? Yes. What would you do if I was sick? I would sing for you. La, 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 la. Oh, that would really make me feel better. What about taking flowers to someone who is sick? Isn't that a great idea? Yes. Or we could take some food. And then we can celebrate. Boys and girls, I pray that your health is good. Celebrate because Jesus cares. Yay! Bye, boys and girls. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I will be Jesus' child wherever I go. Bye!
I am Chloe. Today the memory verse is Jesus says, you can be sure that I'm here with you always. Matthew 28 verse 20. Bye. Happy Sabbath.
It's another Sabbath, kindergartners. I would say I'm glad to see you, but I really can't see you. I hope that will change soon. Well, remember I've been telling you stories about Jesus? Now this is a story that Jesus told to people who were listening to him. Now this story is about a shepherd. You know what a shepherd is? Or who a shepherd is? Right, a person who takes care of sheep. Now this particular shepherd had 100 sheep. You know how much 100 is? It's a lot more than these sheep. It's like 10, 20, a lot of sheep. And he loved his sheep very much. He took very good care of them too. He would take them to the grassiest field where they could eat all the green grass they wanted to eat. Then he would take them to water that was cool and calm, because sheep get scared if the water's a little rough. So he had to find very calm water, and they would drink all the water they had to drink. And then in the evenings, he would take them to a safe place where they could stay and rest at night. So one night, as the shepherd was counting his sheep, he realized something was not right. So he counted his sheep again. He counted and he counted all his sheep, and there were even some more sheep around, and he counted those sheep as they were going in, and he counted again. And he realized that one of his sheep was missing. Now, this is now late in the evening and their sheep are going to sleep, and the shepherd is going to his house and he's going to have supper, but he didn't think about his hungry tummy. He didn't think about his sore feet. He had to go and find that lost sheep. So he made sure all his sheep that were there, the 99 sheep, were safely in the pen. And then he went to find the sheep. Now, looking for a sheep at night, that's not easy. Finding a sheep is not easy. He bumped his foot on stones. He got scratched by those prickly bushes. And finally, he heard a low bleating sound like, meh, meh. I said, oh, that's my sheep. And he started to follow the sound that the sheep made. And he got closer and closer, and the sheep was crying louder and louder. Oh, bleating, I guess. And the sheep knew it was lost, but it couldn't find his way home. So he had to wait on the shepherd, and he knew that he'd be safe if the shepherd was there. So the shepherd looked and looked and looked,
and he found the sheep tangled up in a bush, and the sheep was so happy that the shepherd had found him. So the shepherd gently untangled him from the bushes, took all the way, and the shepherd put the sheep in his arms, and he carried the sheep all the way back to the fold where the other sheep were. Now that's a very good shepherd. He didn't care about himself. He cared about his sheep, so much so that he would go hunting for the one sheep. Now he had 99 other sheep, but this one sheep was as important to him as all the other 99. So he took time to go and look for that sheep. Now that's how Jesus is with us. You're just one person out of a gazillion people, but Jesus cares about you just as much as all those other gazillion people. He cares if you hurt your toe. He cares if you got a chichon on your head. He cares if you lost your favorite tennis shoes. He cares about everything about you. And he will do all he can to take care of you and make sure you're well. And that's why he gave you parents too. Now, our memory verse today says, oh, Chloe, wait a minute. I forgot to thank you for doing the memory verse for us. Where did your 2 front teeth go? Okay, don't worry about it. They'll grow back. It's all right. Okay, so your memory verse today says, Jesus says, you can be sure I will be with you always. That's a marvelous promise coming from Jesus. So what does it say? Jesus said, you can be sure I will be with you always. Now in your pretend Bible, that's found in Matthew 28 verse 20. And if you want to look up the story, I know some of you can read already. That story is found in Luke. See that big Bible? This is heavy. Luke 15. And you can look in verses 4 through 7 and you can find the story. Now maybe your Bible's not that big, or maybe you even have a book about the lost sheep. Miss Karen lent me this one because her children love this story, and there's a whole book about it, so you can read the story also. Now, I wonder if you were really listening to me. Let me ask you, let's see. Well, I'm going to tell you the answers too, but I'll just say it anyway, okay? Who took care of this little lamb that was lost and hungry as can be? Why, a kind shepherd found this lost lamb and cared for him, you see. Next question. Who takes care of the children, giving sunshine and good food for them to grow? My Jesus fell off. Why, it is Jesus who cares for the children each day. No wonder we love him so. Now, I have a little puzzle kind of thing where the pictures are words. Look at this. Now, see if you can figure what it says. I'll help you. The Lord is... Now, here's an I and an M. So you have to put an M and an I. My. Oh, the Lord is my... What's that? Shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not. Okay, that's a not like in a rope. I shall not be, yeah, that's a B. Be in want. And that's found in Psalms 23, verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want, because God is going to take care of us, just like Jesus. So until next time, my kindergartners, bye.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and the primary memory verse is, let us do good things to all people, especially those who belong to the family of believers. Galatians 6:10. Happy Sabbath. Bye.
Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Sabbath to every one of you. Thank you for joining us once again for our lesson review, and thank you especially to Nicole for reminding us of our memory verse for this week. Over the past few months, we've been studying the story of Jacob and Isaac and Rebekah and Esau and all of these characters of the Old Testament. Remember that Jacob was coming home. We learned this last week. Jacob was coming home, and he wasn't sure how his brother was going to react. He sent gifts ahead, and he bowed down low so that his brother would forgive him. And how did Esau react? Esau did forgive his brother. Well, today we're going to read and learn about another story involving Jacob, except this time it's one of Jacob's sons. You know how many sons Jacob had? Jacob had 12 sons. That's a lot of kids, and that doesn't include the girls. There were a few girls there too. That's a lot of kids. Well, sometimes when you're in a really big family, or sometimes even just a small family, you get into fights with your brother or your sister. I know that never happens to any of you, but in this family it did. And Joseph made his brother so mad, because what he would do, he would tell on them. He would go running to father or mother and say, "They're doing things wrong." Well, when people do that, they aren't really liked all that well, are they? Well, Joseph gets sold into slavery. He has to go be a slave in Egypt, so far away from home. But God uses him to do an amazing thing. And you know what? At the end of the story, there's something very special that happens. Enjoy the story.
When his parents were sick, Ethan stepped up and took care of his little brother so his parents could rest a while. Ethan served meals to his little brother and helped him clean up. Do you help to serve others in your family? Today's story is about what Joseph did for his family. After being away for many years, Father Jacob had returned to Canaan with his wives and 12 sons. Joseph was the second youngest and his father's favorite. Because of this, his older brothers hated him and decided to sell him to slave traders going to Egypt. In Egypt, Joseph had remained faithful to God even when bad things had happened to him. Eventually, God had helped him to become the governor. When a famine came on all the land, Jacob sent his 10 sons to Egypt for food. Joseph was in charge of the food, but Joseph's brothers did not know who he was. Yet Joseph knew them and finally made himself known. He told them that he had forgiven them for selling him into slavery. He promised to take care of the entire family, and now the brothers were on their way back to Canaan with the good news. What a grand trip it was! They had carts loaded with food. They had new clothes and money that Joseph had given them. They had many donkeys loaded with presents for their father. And they had Pharaoh's special invitation to come and live in Egypt. He had promised that their families would have food to eat during the rest of the famine. When they got home, their father, Jacob, could not believe the news. His favorite son, Joseph, was alive? Joseph was not dead as he believed all those years? "Are you sure?" he asked his sons over and over. "Are you sure Joseph is alive? And you say he is the governor of Egypt? Tell me again. Tell me again." Finally, Jacob and his family set out for Egypt. Jacob, his children, his in-laws, his grandchildren, everybody went. Some rode comfortably in the carts that Pharaoh had provided for them. Jacob's sons rode beside the carts on Pharaoh's plump donkeys. It was a long journey, but they had plenty of food for the trip. Jacob's heart sang the whole way. He was really, truly going to see his son Joseph once again. In Joseph's home, his servants brought him the good news. "Your family is almost here," they announced. "Hurry, get my chariot ready," Joseph ordered. He drove as fast as his horses could gallop to meet his father. When he got to where he was, Joseph ran to Jacob and hugged him. Together, they cried for joy. Soon after, Joseph took 5 of his brothers to the palace to meet Pharaoh. "What is your occupation?" Pharaoh asked them. "We are shepherds," the brothers answered. "Your brothers may live in Goshen," Pharaoh told Joseph. It is the best of my land, and I will also hire your brothers to take care of my cattle, if they wish." Joseph took his father to meet Pharaoh too. Then Jacob, the great man of God, blessed Pharaoh, the mighty king of Egypt. After that, Jacob lived with his family in Egypt for 17 years. Then he died. He was 147 years old. Now Joseph's brothers began to worry. Now that their father was dead, what would Joseph do? Would he finally get even with them for the terrible thing they had done? They decided to send Joseph a message. "Before our father died, he said he wanted you to forgive us for the evil thing we did to you." "You meant to harm me," Joseph replied, "but God meant it for good. He made it possible for me to help all of you." "How has God made it possible for you to serve your family? You may never be an officer in your country's government. You may never have to save your family from starvation, but you are part of a family. What can you do now to help and show love to the people you live with? What can you do to serve your church family also?"
Hi, my name is Sarah, and the junior's memory verse is found in Matthew chapter 5, verses 44 and 45. "But I tell you, love your enemies, pray for those who hurt you. If you do this, then you will be true sons of your Father in heaven. Your Father causes the sun to rise on good people and on bad people. Your Father sends rain to those who do good and to those who do wrong."
Happy Sabbath, junior families. We are on lesson 5, and our lesson this week is entitled Grieving Father, Victorious King. Now, you remember that we talked last week about Absalom and how Absalom was really a beautiful man, but yet he did not want to work alongside his father. He had no intention of humbling himself to be the second ruler, right? He wanted it all for himself. Now, this week, we're talking about the end of Absalom's life. But before we do that, I have an object lesson for you. Now, all of us are flexible, right? We're like these rubber bands. Some of us are thicker and we go pretty far, and some of us are thinner and we can snap real quickly. Ow. Well, that's just like our patience. Sometimes some of us have more patience and some of us don't have enough patience. But eventually, everyone, whether they have a lot or a little, everyone snaps. And this is what this week's story is about. Finally, David snaps and Absalom snaps. And we're going to read and we're going to see that it did not end well for Absalom. And it didn't end well for David also.
Anyway, let's see what happened next. David's army fought against Absalom's army.
Eventually, they met in a big battle to settle things once and for all.
And then, Absalom's long, flowing hair that he loved so much got stuck in a tree. And then he got caught. And then he died.
Kids, this is what we call poetic justice.
So David's army won and the naughty son's army lost. Good ending, right?
Not really. Here's the lesson of the story. David's heart was broken when Absalom died.
When David found out Absalom died, he ran up to his room and cried.
Even after Absalom tried to kill him, David still loved his son.
See, kids, that's what good parents do. Even when kids are naughty, they still loved him.
David still loved his son, even when he was making bad choices. That's outrageous, huh?
And did you know that God is outrageous in the same way towards us?
He loves us even when we make bad mistakes.
God loves you way more than David loved Absalom. Memory verse.
But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners.
God loves us so much that he sent Jesus to die for us. Now that's the most outrageous love of all.
Kids, have you asked Jesus into your heart? If not, ask a parent or a teacher about it.
And don't forget, whatever mistakes you make, God's love for us is outrageous.
Good morning, church. Today's early teens memory text is, remember those who rule over you, who have spoken the word of God to you, whose faith follow concerning the outcome of their conduct. Hebrews 13, verse 7. Happy Sabbath.
Hello, my early teens. How are you? Well, I hope. Well, this week we studied lesson number 5, which is entitled Submission. Just trust me. And I want to thank Aliyah for reciting this week's memory text. Now, what would you say if I told you that this whole week I've been practicing my aiming and my shots? Here I have a cup filled with green Skittles, and I'm going to try to sink them in that bottle over there. All right? Now, I'm not perfect, so I may not get them all, but I should at least get one. Are you ready to see? All right, here we go. One more. One. Well, I know I haven't fooled all of you. Some of you have probably seen this trick on TikTok, right? Where I'm relying on my very, very helpful camera person, Ruben, to make the shots for me. Thank you, Ruben. Now, why is it that as human beings, sometimes we, use our skills or even imagine skills to impress others? And in the process, we lose something so valuable and precious, which is trust. But what is trust? According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, trust is the assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. Is that clear? How about the simple formula? Trust is reliability plus likability. It's as simple as that. So being able to count, depend, rely on someone or something, plus likability, which means relationship, right? Interaction. And if you think about it, that's how faith and trust in God exist, right? We know that we can rely on God because we see how dependable He is, the things that He's done for us and for others in the past. Plus, when we spend time with Him and we get to like Him and love Him, we can really trust Him. Now, did you know that trust also is part of the growth process? In order for us to grow spiritually, we have to be able to submit or to trust in someone who knows more, who has more experience, a guide, a coach, a counselor. And that's what this lesson was all about. Now, we're going to talk about all of this at 1 p.m. in our Zoom meeting. But in the meantime, here's a short video I know you will enjoy. Trust me on this. Bye. See you soon. And that was our Sabbath School lesson review for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, parents, remember between now and our 11 a.m. service, please take time to review the lesson with your children. We have on our website, miamitemple.org, under the Children's Ministry tab, the links to the different lessons, plus our little friend and the guide magazines, all right? I hope you guys have a happy Sabbath. We'll see you next week. Bye.
We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. You give us hope and life that's forever. You make us bold and we stand together. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you. We're off on this journey, there's no looking back. With Jesus to lead us, we're on the right track. Oh, 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 oh. Wide open spaces for wide open eyes. We're looking ahead for the next big surprise. Oh, 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 oh. We trust in you, Jesus. You're all that we need. Your power will pull us through. We're trusting in you. We're trusting in you.
You're watching Miami Temple Kids.